Villanova student-athletes leave the locker room. Their locker room is open for a minimum period of 30 minutes. The student-athletes who do not join us here in the main interview room will be available in the Villanova locker room. And following the Wildcats news conference, we'll have head coach Bill Self of Kansas, as well as student-athletes from Kansas. Tomorrow's schedule here in the main interview room begins at noon with a John Beeline news conference that'll be from noon to 12:30. Michigan student-athlete breakouts are from 12:35 to 12:55, but that's after we get a visit from some Michigan student-athletes here in the main interview room as well. Michigan news conference tomorrow in the main interview room from noon to 12:30. With breakouts to follow from 12:35 to 12:55. Villanova availability tomorrow begins at 1:45 p.m. We'll have head coach Jay Wright in the main interview room here and student-athletes from 2:05 to 2:15. So 1:45 to 2:15, Villanova here in the main interview room, followed by student-athlete breakouts from 2:20 to 2:40. All the bars on this level are closed. I checked. It's so far off in the distance, I can't even see it. You're saying you want me to extend this till midnight? You're telling me that you want me to wish everybody a happy Easter at the end of this press conference? No. At 10:15. Pacific? Hawaiian? Can I get a little more juice on mic number 1? I need to save this for some karaoke tonight. Appreciate it. We'll do our best up here to let you know when Kansas's locker room opens and closes as well. Just a reminder, in this situation, Kansas' locker room will open when the SID opens the locker room. It's not triggered by Coach Self or the student-athletes headed down this way. They'll be open for 30 minutes minimum. Once again, for those of you that wish to join us tomorrow, the Michigan availability is from 12 to 12:30 here in the main interview room with student-athlete breakouts from 12:35 to 12:55. The Villanova availability will be from 1:45 to 2:15 here in the main interview room with student-athlete breakout availability from 2:20 to 2:40. Hi, Ken. I'm sorry? You have to talk louder, I'm sorry. Whenever the SID opens it, it'll be open. And I probably won't know about it, so I can't tell you. So, what's that? You go out and walk a mile to the left. I haven't. I'm sorry. Yeah, but they're on the other side of the locker rooms. Villanova has arrived. Jesse, can you check the TV monitors again for volume? Thank you. Hey, guys. Coach, congrats. We're joined at this time by Villanova head coach Jay Wright and student-athletes Amari Spellman, Jalen Brunson, and Eric Pascal. We'll ask Coach Wright to make an opening statement. Then we'll take questions first for the student-athletes only. Coach, go ahead.
Okay. Well, that was just one of those nights, man. We made every shot to start the game, and when you do that, you get up 22-4. If you're a decent free throw shooting team, it's tough to come back on. It's happened to us. You know, I feel bad for Kansas. They're a great team. We just made every shot. That happens sometimes, but you can't depend on that. And we're just fortunate it happened to us tonight. When we shoot them up and we sleep in the street. Sometimes they go in, sometimes they don't. This was just one of those nights everything went in.
We're looking for questions for the student athletes first. Let's take one in the front on the right side. Remember your name and media outlet and then your question.
Lindsay Schnell, USA Today. I want each of the players to answer this. Presumably you guys work with little kids at kids camp? Yes, that's true, right? Okay. What piece of advice do you give all of them if they want to be a great shooter? And it would be great if you each had a different thing to say.
Let's start with Eric. We'll give Eric the opportunity to come up with his creative answer first, and then Jalen, and then Amari.
I would just say just keep shooting. I mean, just work on it every day. Shoot with technique as well. I mean, just doing that every day. Make your jumper consistent.
Jalen.
I don't want to sound repetitive, but doing the same, like just being in the gym every day, being a gym rat, just consistently just working on your games, form shooting, things like that. Just having confidence in yourself and knowing that it's nothing magical. It's all in the work. It's all in the work.
Amari.
An aspect that I would like to add is just being open to coaching and critiques on your own shot. And I'm just always looking to improve. And like they also said, just repetition and just staying in the gym.
Let's go over to the right side, standing up on the aisle. We're going to use the front right microphone.
Roy Flores, Associated Press Radio. Coach talked about the three-point shooting. That was very obvious to us. But can y'all speak to what y'all were able to do defensively to just take them out of rhythm tonight?
We'll go in that same order again. Eric, Jalen, then Amari.
Just playing team defense. I mean, that's what we pride ourselves on, and playing 40 minutes of Villanova basketball. Just doing that every night consistently for each other.
Jalen.
It's the same thing. Just whenever we're not making shots, I mean, we got to focus on defending and the rebounding. Even when we are making shots, we got to do the same thing. I mean, obviously we're very talented offensively. We have a lot of weapons offensively, but I mean, when it comes to us sticking together on defense, that's what makes us special, and that's why we got to keep getting better. And we're gonna keep getting better tomorrow, and just be ready for Monday.
And Amari.
I think those guys summed it up really well. Just doing what we do, defending, rebounding, playing hard and together, and we try to just go out and get a win, playing as hard as we can.
We have three questions on the left side. We're going to start just to the right of the aisle, midway back.
Mike Sealski from the Philadelphia Inquirer for Jalen. Did the difference in the style of defense, the more open style of play, how much did that contribute, do you think, to the flow you guys were able to get into offensively, the way you guys were able to shoot the ball compared to what you saw against Texas Tech and West Virginia previously?
I just think we did a good job being ready to catch and shoot. Everyone was able making plays for each other. And, we were all ready to catch and shoot. And I mean, like Coach said, there's one of those nights when we were able to make shots, and that's what the lead looks like. But if we weren't making shots, I feel like we would have, grinded that game out and maybe win by 1 or 2 possessions. But it was just us playing off each other, and I mean, just the way they played defense. We just tried to make sure we were playing together offensively.
Continuing with questions for the Villanova student-athletes to the right of the aisle.
Josh Verlin, City Basketball Love. For Eric, you didn't shoot the three ball particularly well last year. You were like 4% through the first 8 or 9 games this year, and then since then you're somewhere around 45, 46%. Was there anything particular for you that clicked or that changed at that point, and what's been working well so for you the rest of the year?
Just working with the coaches. I mean, them just staying in the gym as well. I mean, they did a great job of just staying with me, knowing that that I was struggling, and I didn't really even think about it. I mean, just if I don't make shots, I know that I'm able to play defensive rebound for my teammates. So, I mean, I just stayed in the gym, but it really wasn't a big thought.
Up front to the left side.
Question for Omari. Omari, how do you guys keep this edge for Monday night?
Just coming out, ready to compete and defend and rebound and continue to do what we do. We don't pride ourselves on shooting the ball well. We pride ourselves on defending and rebounding, and that's our true measure of success in playing Villanova basketball. So we're definitely going to look to come out and do that on Monday.
On the left side to the left of the aisle, student-athlete questions.
Jalen, on Tuesday, Jay said that you guys got better in practice. On Thursday, I think it was Ashley said you guys got better in practice. And on Friday, I think you said you guys were still getting better. Is this the product of that, and do you think you can get even better than what we saw tonight?
I think this is definitely a product, but not the finished product. We use the line every day. Let's see where we can be by the end of the year. Let's be the best team we can be by the end of the year. And I mean, the next couple of days, tomorrow we're gonna get better, and in practice and watching film, just making sure we're all on the same page. And we're gonna try to be the best team we can be on Monday night. And that's all we've worked for, is to be the best team we can be by the end of the year.
Swing it over to the right side.
Adam Zubnich, San Antonio Express News. Eric, you didn't play 2 years ago. How tough was it to be on the sidelines for the title run? Tonight, how much fun were you having out there? And did that have anything to do with your performance?
I mean, 2 years ago, it really wasn't a problem. I mean, I had great teammates that just always talked to me. I had great coaches that always worked with me and kept in contact and always made sure I was fine. And then tonight, I mean, just playing with my brothers is always a blessing. I mean, we get another opportunity to do that, and I look forward to it.
Left side, fourth row.
Bob Ford, Philadelphia Inquirer. This is also for Eric. When the opposing coach sets up his defense and says, here's the guys we have to stop, and puts the names on the blackboard, your name is probably not the first one up there. There's probably some other guys. Do you find that might help you as the ball swings around looking for a home, that you're that third or fourth option, that by the time it gets to you, they haven't adjusted to where you are?
No, not really. I mean, my teammates do a great job of just finding me. I mean, we play together as a team, and that's what we did tonight.
Let's go to the back of the room toward the center. Nancy?
Nancy Armour, USA Today Sports. This is for Eric. Eric, you guys have won in very different ways the last 3 games. How much confidence does that give you, knowing all of the different things that you guys can do? And when you have a night like tonight, what's that feel like?
I mean, we definitely won in different ways, but I mean, I feel like we've done good defensively. I mean, just playing together, looking out for each other, having each other's back all the time. And then, like I said, tonight was just fun. I mean, playing defense and rebounding with them is great.
At this time, we want to congratulate and thank Eric, Jalen, and Omari. We want to thank you guys for joining us. They're going to head back to the locker room at this time, which is still open. They'll join their teammates there for some more availability, and we'll see them tomorrow here in the main interview room and in the breakout sessions as well.
Great job, man. Good job.
First question for Coach Wright. Let's go to Mike on the left side.
Mike
So
Jensen,
back left.
Mike Jensen, Philadelphia Inquirer. Jay, obviously it's a veteran group, but when the shots are going in like that, how much do you find yourself harping on the other end to make sure it doesn't get into a back and forth? And did they, pass the defensive test in your mind?
Yeah, that's something that we were doing early in the year. We've had some nights like this earlier in the year, but when we got leads, we relaxed defensively, and that was something that and our staff was really trying to keep an eye on. But they did a good job. They stayed pretty focused. If you look at the numbers, we held them to 45% shooting, got to the foul line 20 times. Doesn't look great, but against that team that averages 80 points a game and is a very, very talented offensive team, very well coached, it's actually a pretty good job. We were pleased defensively, especially having a lead.
Staying on the left side, Zach.
Zach Brazil, New York Post. Jay, we all know what kind of player Eric was at Fordham. To go from being the guy, he scored 31 points in his first game, to sitting out and then being a role player. I mean, what does it kind of say of his character that he's kind of made that transition and obviously has excelled at it?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is, character. When we recruited him, he said, I want to be a part of a team. I want to be a part of a family. He liked that at Fordham. He just lost his coach, but he felt they were a family. And that's what he was looking for. He never said, I want to be the leading scorer. I want to get a certain number of shots. the other thing that's really amazing is he's become our best defensive player and one of our best rebounders also, from being a scorer. And I know he didn't agree with the question, but he is the third or fourth option sometimes. And it's helping him in games like this, but he's going to be really good when he's the go-to guy too. And there are times we know people are taking away the other guys, and he is a go-to guy for us.
All the way to the back of the room on the right side, Jerry.
Hi, Jerry Palm with CBS. Your offense this year is setting all kinds of records: offensive efficiency, number of three-pointers in a season. Tonight, record for the number of three-pointers in a Final Four game. How does this offense compare to other teams that you have coached or other teams that you have seen?
It's our best offensive team. And we've had some good ones. This is definitely our best. And like I said, our challenge has been that we were so good offensively earlier in the year that we got lazy defensively. So it was hard to get to this point where we are. I really am proud of these guys. And, you know, there was a Creighton team the first year we were in the Big East with Doug McDermott that lit us up twice, just like this. That's why when I say I've been on the other side of this, trust me, in our league, I have. And Creighton with Doug McDermott and a gentleman by the name of Raggy, they lit us up. What worse than this? Twice.
Up front to the right, Hoops.
Hoops is in the house. It's official.
Hey, Coach, I've seen you play now 3 times in the last 2 years in a dome, in an elevated floor in a Final Four situation. You've lit it up 3 straight times. Is there a secret?
No, not really, Hoops. Just that I think in 2009 we played in Ford Field, and we didn't get a practice. It was the first year they put the court in the middle of the field, and we didn't get a practice on Thursday. And when we came to Houston, they gave us a closed practice on Thursday, and then the open practice on Friday. And we had Thursday, Friday, Saturday shooting here, and I think it makes a difference. I think it makes a big difference. By Saturday, you feel comfortable.
Over to the left side, just to the right of the aisle.
Jay, Josh Verlin, City Basketball Love. Similar to what I asked Eric, he was not a terrific three-point shooter at Fordham or last year or at the beginning of this season. When did you see things start to click for him? Did he start to do anything differently?
He was a volume shooter at Fordham, where he made threes, but he took a lot of threes. Didn't shoot a great percentage. But as soon as we got him, as soon as he came, the year he sat out, he worked really hard. And we work with all our guys on shooting technique, and he worked really hard. And he really became a pretty good three-point shooter. And then he just struggled a little bit. And this summer, he was a great three-point shooter. And in the fall, great. And when he started this season, it was unbelievable. Like, he couldn't make a shot. And you know, I know people are saying, why do you let him shoot it? But we knew, we had seen 2 years of him shooting the ball extremely well. So we just, as he said, we just said to him, yo, just keep shooting him, man. We know you're a good shooter. It's like a baseball hitter. If he's a 300 hitter and he starts off, you know, hitting 100, you know he's going to hit 400, 500 at some point and even it out. You know, that's kind of what we thought about with him. He really didn't worry about it. It's unbelievable. He's great, got great confidence.
Toward the center, Howie. I'm sorry, just in front.
Howie Kasoy, New York Post. Jay, a lot of teams that get off to the start that you guys did, you'd think, okay, they can't sustain this. You know, they're shooting too well. But you've seen it so many times this year, I guess. What has it been like being on that side of it, knowing that it can last the whole game?
Well, like I said, earlier in the year, in the middle of the year, we were doing that and not sustaining it. It's your defense. You know, they went zone in the first half and did a good job. We missed like 3 or 4 straight shots, and they got out in transition. And one of those in transition, Dante DiVincenzo chased, I think it might have been De Sosa, and he missed one free throw. And then McHale chased somebody down and blocked the shot. So it was our defense that kept us going. And then we hit a couple shots against the zone. But Bill made a good move going zone, and we had missed, I think it was like 5 possessions. And if we didn't get stops, it was getting back to be like a 5-6 point game. So our defense carries us, and that's what enables us to sustain it.
On the left side, Bob.
Jay, thanks for saying my question wasn't dumb, by the way.
I'm not sure if he understood it exactly.
I don't think he liked saying that he wasn't the first option on the field. Anyway, that when you had to be anticipating that Bill was going to try going zone, I mean, you've got to try something in that. Do you have to talk to the players at that time, say, hey, look for the spaces getting inside now, as opposed to, if they're going to press out on the perimeter on us? Or are these guys mature enough, especially with Jalen, to know that?
It's both. I mean, we watch. I mean, you get a whole week to prepare, so we watch every game. They have played zone. Sometimes when they get in foul trouble, they've played zone, and sometimes just to get guys out of rhythm. So we knew he would try it, at some point. So we did prepare for it. But to your point, even if we're not, those guys are pretty good at getting to their spots and understanding how to attack a zone, how to use their shot to attack a zone. They are pretty good at that. And it does start with Jalen.
We have time for a few more. Nancy in the back.
Nancy Armour, USA Today Sports. Jay, back here.
Sorry, Nancy.
I asked Eric this, but you guys have won in different ways the last couple of games. As a coach, how encouraging is that, not just the style, but the person who's coming up big? And how difficult does that make you guys to defend, because you can't just key on the one person?
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things you strive for as a coach is balance. Having all these guys in double figures and Omari scored a little bit inside, Eric scored a little bit inside, Jalen can post up. That's what you strive for. Sometimes you have it as a team, sometimes you don't. This team's getting pretty good at that, at the balance part offensively. And the one thing you can count on is your defense and the rebound. That's something that can be consistent each night, not your shooting. So that's why I said tonight we made shots. It makes everything look good. But you can look at these numbers. We made all those shots, and we won by 16. If we're not shooting at an incredible clip, that's a 1 or 2 point game, and then you have to grind it out defensively.
Just off the center to the right.
Trevor Scales with ESPN International. Coach, what does it mean to make this sort of run to this point, just about 6 or so months removed from the passing of Coach Massimino?
Yeah, it's making this run in itself. I wish I could give you a better answer. It's so exhilarating. You can't say it's a dream come true because you don't even dream about it. You don't dream about getting 2 out of 3 years. You don't even think about it. I don't. So it's hard to even comprehend it. And not having Coach Mass this year, I personally miss him a great deal. And it times walking out before the game in the hotel, I can hear when the crowd's going crazy, and I know he walked in, and having him having the media around him, it takes a lot of pressure off us, when we're back at school and he comes in, he just lights up the campus. I miss it a lot personally. We have his whole family. I think we have 18 Massiminos here, and his grandson's on our staff. So there's always going to be a piece of Coach Massimino in this program.
Thank you, Coach Wright. We'll see you tomorrow right back here at 1:45. I know. Got cut off jeans guy. I'm sorry. Villanova's locker room is open for another 7 minutes for student-athlete availability. We're joined right now by student-athletes from Kansas, Malik Newman and Devontae Graham. And Coach Self will join us in just a moment as well. Let's begin with questions for our student athletes, Malik and Devontae. If you have a question, please raise your hand. We'll go up front to the left.
Hey, Devontae. Jerry Briggs from San Antonio. Just wanted to ask you what did Coach tell y'all in the dressing room afterwards?
He just told us, we should keep our heads up. We had an unbelievable season. It's not the way, you wanted to end. But even if you would have lost, by 1 point, it still would hurt. And we just need to keep our heads up, and it's gonna hurt now, but we'll be all right.
Continuing with questions for the student athletes, and we'll get to questions and a statement from Coach in a few minutes. Let's go up front to Blair on the left.
Blair Kirchhoff with the Kansas City Star. Devontae, do you just tip your hat to Villanova the way they shot the ball, or were there things you could have done better defensively to stem the tide a little bit?
I'm not sure. They did a great job of knocking down shots, obviously, and making an extra pass. And they had us, rotating a lot, and Spellman picking and popping kind of was hard to guard for us. So, you just gotta give them a lot of credit for what they did.
Toward the back on the left side.
Chris Lozerian, Kansas alumni. Malik, how does that kind of the start of the game, 22-4, how does that change the dynamics of the way the game plays out from there?
It's tough. It's tough, especially when most of the points come from the three-point line. You feel like you don't really give yourself a chance to win. You put yourself in a deep hole, and it's hard to climb out of it. And it's like I just said, it's just tough. It's a tough situation to put yourself in.
Continuing with questions for Malik and Devontae. If you have a question, please raise your hand. Any further questions for the student athletes? Let's go all the way to the back on the left side.
Bobby Nightingale, Orange from the World. Devontae, just the last minute or so when you came off the court, what was going through your mind when you came off the last time?
I just knew it was my last time coming off the court in the Kansas uniform, and just got really emotional. But it's been a great ride, great journey these last 4 years, Have been a blessing, and I was just, got really emotional.
We have a question on the right side.
Roy Flores, Associated Press Radio. Obviously, their three-point shooting was just phenomenal tonight, but what did they do that just hampered y'all offensively?
Devontae,
their defense.
Devontae first, please, and then Malik.
They did a good job, I feel like, on their ball screen defense, not letting us get open threes, or they didn't over-rotate, really, and, kind of limited us to one shot.
Malik.
I agree with the same thing Devontae said, and also I thought we were stagnant on offense, so it gave them a better chance to guard us. We didn't move the ball, bodies wasn't moving, so they was just kind of guarding areas. And when you play a good defensive team like Villanova, you definitely have to move and get the ball moving. So I think we did a poorly job on offense, and they did a great job on defense by not having to rotate.
Continuing with questions for the student athletes from Kansas, there's one all the way to the left side.
Brad Kellner, 104.9 The Horn in Austin. Devontae, I'm sure an impossible question to answer right now, but 4 incredible years at KU. What are you going to miss the most about being a Jayhawk?
Man, everything. I can't say one thing. It's just the coaching staff, all the friends you make, and the fan base is amazing. And just waking up, at our dorm and being able to walk over to the field house and shooting and practices and, man, just everything I'm going to miss for real.
Any further questions for Devontae or Malik? We'd like to thank Devontae and Malik for joining us here in the main interview room, and we're going to let them get back to the locker room and join their teammates. Coach, we'll ask you to give everybody an opening statement, please, and then we'll take some questions.
Yeah, I apologize. I was late.
It's okay, Coach.
Well, I don't feel that bad about it, but drank a little too much water during the game. You know, it was a game that we knew we'd have to play well, and we knew that they would probably have to miss some decent looks, but they got anything they wanted early, and then of course they made the most of it and knocking them down. And I thought as good as everybody was, I thought Spellman and Pascal kind of set the tone, because you know Doak was on Spellman, and you know in theory if he could kind of maybe back off of anybody, it may be Pascal, even though he's more than capable of making them. But I thought they were great. That's as good a team as we played against that I can remember. And we didn't play very well, obviously. And when we got spread out and our game plan went to crap on how we were going to guard certain actions, and we got caught in between, and that's the worst thing you can do defensively, is be caught in between. So credit to them, the superior team, and they were superior, obviously. Handled us today, and they'd be hard for anybody to deal with if they shoot the ball like that.
Coach, let's start up front in the center.
Hey, Bill. Vahe Gregorian, Kansas City Star. Can you just sort of describe where you're going to see this team ultimately? You had the pendulum really swing wildly in a lot of ways. Quite a thing to get to the Final Four, but a sour ending. And I just wonder if you could speak to that, and also how you try to get that across to the guys after the game.
Well, you know, I don't know if I totally agree with that. To me, it'd be a sour ending if you lost on the last possession. Do you feel better, you know, losing the way that we did today, or losing on the last possession? You know, you always want to perform in a way to put yourself in position to win. But when it's the last game, you know, certainly it stings and hurts no matter what. I'm really proud of our guys. We did not have the perfect roster in many ways to probably, you know, win 31 games and win the league, and in a great league and the conference tournament, and get to the Final Four in a lot of ways. And to be honest with you, it felt like today it kind of just caught up to us. You know, we had performed at a pretty high level, and our margin for error is not as great as what it has been in most of our past years. And the kids have, you know, laid it out there, and it just seemed to kind of catch up to us today, in large part because Villanova was so good. So I'm not going to think sour about this at all. You know, if you know, we've been in enough Elite Eight games and lost them, so getting here was obviously special, and everything would have had to go the way Villanova played. We would have had to play a perfect basketball game in order to put ourselves in a position to win, and you know that obviously didn't occur.
Coach, to the left side, just to the right of the aisle, Eddie.
Hey, Coach, Eddie Pels from AP. You've obviously seen a ton of basketball, coached a lot. There were times today where what Villanova did looked like something you just don't see much, as far as making the threes. Yeah. Where did that? What were you thinking, I guess?
Well, you know what? When they got up 9-2, I think we got up 9-2 and called timeout. I thought, you know what, we're okay, but we need to have a couple of good possessions fast, and then I don't know what it went to right after that, but then it gets to 22-4, and it's like, oh my gosh, you know, we're 7 minutes in, and you know this thing is, we're going to have to play just about perfect to get back. And I thought if we could get it to single figures at halftime, maybe we could have a chance, and we didn't. But we've been down to good teams on the road by at least 15 or more. So, but you know, we haven't been down to Villanova by 15, and they had us caught in between on everything we did defensively. I thought they were really good defensively, but you know, in all honesty, 79 points, even though a lot of them were kind of late game stuff. You know, if you get to 70, you know, it used to be the first one to 71, and you know, we certainly eliminated ourselves from having a chance to do that because they got 47 the first half. But I'll look at it, and if I ever watch the game tape, which is I know what happened, so I probably won't. But I'll think more about how good Villanova was today.
Continuing on the left side, a little further back, CL.
C.L. Brown with the Fieldhouse. Bill, this isn't game related. I was curious to get your perspective. What was it like to meet Florence Azubuike for the first time and to see her reunited with Udoka?
Yeah, you know, she didn't get in last night till about midnight, and so got back to the hotel about 12:30. So there was a brief exchange, and certainly with us and everything. She was exhausted, so I haven't talked to her again today. I'm sure we'll connect tonight, and Udoka will connect with her. But you know, that's a you know, sports in so many ways. You know, it's just amazing to me how so many good things can come out of, you know, competition, and you know, who would have thought that winning and having a chance to play at the highest level would allow a mother and her son to reconnect after 6 years. That's the only way they would have, and so there's no telling how long they would have gone without ever seeing each other. So yeah, that was a proud moment for all of us, and certainly it doesn't seem near as proud. It's not the fairy tale story, you know, if we'd won the game, but certainly is a really special moment for those two.
On the right side.
CJ Moore with the Fieldhouse. Coach, what was your defensive game plan coming in, and then also what challenges did you have with this rosters you feel like defensively this year?
Well, the thing, you know, when I text Hugs, I said, "What do you think?" He said, "You better hope Spellman doesn't shoot the ball well." You know, I think they were 13 to 24 against West Virginia. I personally knew it'd be hard if he got off to a good start, and because Doak's never guarded out there, never, and Silvio's never guarded out there. So we tried to devise a ball screen defensive plan, which we thought would eliminate some of the actions, but after we got behind. And it became obvious that we weren't defending the three after they made 6 in the first, 7 or 8 minutes or whatever it was. We got halfway. We didn't do what we were really supposed to do with the aggressiveness that we should have, because we were worried about, the results, because they'd already picked on us some, and so it was one of those things. If the game had started out differently, where we had some success defensively, we would have probably played a much better game. But after we didn't have any success defensively, it's, you can't switch 5. You're going to put Brunson, Azubuike on Brunson. I mean, there's certain things that we can't do, and so which obviously Villanova can do, it just didn't. It wasn't very good. It looked good in practice, though, but it certainly wasn't very good.
If you have a question for Coach Self, please raise your hand. With that, we'd like to thank Coach for joining us and congratulate him on a great run to the Final Four.